One of the things with the type of work I do is that because it covers personal security and personal risk, counter-terrorism, situational awareness, it tends to follow tragedies. So often organisations are far too busy to call us in, ask for a workshop, get some training done so that their people can increase their personal safety. That normally doesn't happen. What normally happens is that we get called after something terrible has happened. And that can be anything. It can be, someone walks down from the office, goes to the shops at lunchtime and gets mugged. It can be a sexual assault. It could be, an attack in a hotel room. It could be someone gets involved in some minor way in some terrorist incident. It could be people not knowing how to handle conflict and confrontation, so they end up like in a tit-for-tat type situation where they're arguing, the other person's arguing, they're arguing a bit more, the other person's arguing a bit more, until it escalates up into this conflict and confrontation, which can, in many situations, be a violent situation. And people will flip to violence, often unexpectedly, but if you understand and can recognise some of the triggers and some of the actions, you'll see how that needn't be the case. But as I say, often we're called, I get an email, I get a phone call after something awful has happened to one of the people in their company. Now, it's almost like a negative advertising. It feels bad to be doing it, but what I would like to do is do prevention. I'd love organisations to come to me and say, how can you work with us to ensure that as our people travel or they go about their business or they're involved in different work, that they stay safe? That's the key. That's what we're really after. And then no one has to go through the tragedy. It's not always, people are very negative and they say, organisations react because a legal issue, or they're in the courts, or an insurance claim's been paid out. It's not that negative. I've worked at senior level in many organisations in the city, and I can almost guarantee that's not normally the case. What's normally the case is that everyone is just too busy, be it HR, operations or facilities or security, whoever's responsible for the personal safety of the people within the organisation. And it can be 2 or 3 different parts of the organisation in many cases. A little bit might be HR, a little bit might be facilities, and a little bit might be security. So often people and their well-being seem to just drop between the gaps in the organisation structure, with everyone far too busy doing their own thing until tragedy happens. And it's good for me because it's a workshop and I go in and I do some training for people, and the organisation improves their training, and everyone hopefully moves on and does better in the future. But it would be much better for everyone involved if we could do more prevention, and then the tragedy would not have to have happened for me to be getting